Good afternoon and welcome to our 2023 preseason App State football press conference with head coach Shawn Clark. Thank you for the media members in attendance and also for those watching online. We will have another Facebook Live show directly after this one with our two coordinators and players, and Coach Clark will give us an opening statement and then we'll take questions from the media after that.
Good afternoon. It's good to see some familiar faces and some new faces in here as we report for fall camp today. Anticipation for our first game versus a very good Gardner-Webb football team. Just a few roster updates. Jacoby Peaton has taken a medical hardship due to several lower body injuries he suffered here at Appalachian State. Deshaun McKnight is in protocol with athletic training staff for return to play. We will update you when we have more information on that. Michael Hess will be out for a week with upper body injury, and Ronald Clark will be limited in practice this week, hoping in full speed, full practice, hopefully the first of next week. But it's been a great offseason. I know Coach Matt Green on the staff's done a fantastic job in the weight room and strength conditioning. We've done a great job with Dr. Cooper, with our sports psychologist in anticipation for this year. So a lot of exciting things happening. I'm excited for this football team. It's good to be back. We were in New Orleans last week, and that's when it really hit me that football season is here. So we kissed our wife and kids goodbye, good night, and kissed them good night last night. And then we're back in the office today, and we'll see them hopefully Thanksgiving or Christmas. So we'll open for questions.
David Ware, 24/7 Sports. Shawn, you've had as you said, a very busy off season, a lot of integration. You had some coaching staff changes that took place. You also had a large number of transfer portal guys who arrived, both for spring practice and then later in the summer. Can you talk a little bit about that integration process of kind of bringing everybody together, helping them kind of absorb the culture and really getting that continuity you want between everybody that's new in the program?
Yeah, I think it starts with our coaching staff. We were able to bring back Scott Sloan from Army to lead our defense. Scott and I have had a great relationship since we both were assistants here back in 16 and 17, I believe the dates were, and had the same kind of vision I was aligned with. He knows our defense, and he's bringing his own taste or his own spill to how we want to run things here. And we brought back Coach Ponce from the University of Miami. Coach, this is his third time here at App, and he wanted to call plays again. When he was here in 21, we were 10-2 in the regular season. So I know what both those coordinators bring to the table. They've brought their staff in. I let them bring their staff how they wanted to bring their staff in to make sure everyone's on the same page. But it's been, as far as cohesiveness as a staff, we're all pulling the same direction. And then you mentioned with recruits, this is a different world we live in right now with the transfer portal. Of our 32 signees, 17 were transfers, and we did our homework on every single transfer we brought in to make sure they were App guys. The one thing you do not want to do is bring young men in that doesn't fit our locker room and fit the culture we do, and we were very direct in doing that. So I think the kids we brought in will be an immediate impact on some needs we have, positions we have to fill in, add some depth as well. But really the next 2.5, 3 weeks is going to determine who plays, who doesn't play. And but everyone, like I said, had a great off season. They continue that in June. We could work with our players twice a week, 2 hours during the week, and I'm really excited on every phase of our program right now.
I'm sure everybody in the room would ask this question. I'll get it out of the way right up front. Can you update kind of where you are in the quarterback assessment, how you see that starting with camp tomorrow, and then what the critical evaluations will be during the fall camp process?
It's going to be a two-way battle between Braxton Clark and Chase Watts of where we go there. No, it's, that question's been asked a lot, and I appreciate your question, David, but I really don't know right now, and that's an honest question. You had a chance to watch us through spring practice. We have 3 quarterbacks who can run our system, and we can play winning football. And it starts with Ryan Berger, Joey Aguilar, and Mason McHugh. And each one brings something different to the table, but they're more mobile than we've been in the last 2 years. So I believe they can, instead of getting 5 yards, they can go 50 yards with running the football. So you might see more of that in our offense, but I like where we are with our quarterback room. Coach Ponce has done a great job this offseason of teaching them how they want it done, how he wants it done. So it's going to play on the football field, and that's how you want it. But I know the competition has been there, and that's going to go all the way through the first game.
Kenyon Johnson will talk a Democrat. I was going to talk about guys outside of like Nate Noel in the running back room. What's some other guys that's going to step up for you for this offense?
As far as the running back room,
yes.
Well, we're very deep in the running back room. And you have to be in our style of offense because we are going to run the football. I do believe you have to run the football to win championships and protect your defense at times. But, Nate Noel, I think he's probably one of the most underrated players in our conference. You saw the all-conference selection, preseason all-conference selection come out, and he wasn't on it. And he rushed for 650-some yards last year in 6.5 games. And Amani Marshall, that's another name, a local kid from Winston-Salem. And Anderson Castle has really had an outstanding offseason. He has gained weight, dropped body fat. If you see him now, you wouldn't really probably recognize him. Kanye Roberts, the list goes on and on. So like I said, I'm happy where we are in the running back room. We're not adding any scholarship players to that room from the spring, so they'll get plenty of competition and plenty of reps in fall camp.
This coordinator change has been a real big talking point for the team this year. How excited are you to have Mr. Ponce and Mr. Sloan with the team, and what have you seen that they're bringing to the table that's different, that's going to shift from last year? What are the big points?
So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Sorry. Mr. Ponce and Mr. Sloan, they're going to be bringing some big changes to the playbook and to the style of the team this year. What's going to be different from last year that they're bringing in?
I wouldn't say big changes in our style of play in all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. When you have success at a program like App, then you're going to lose coaches. And this is the fourth different coordinator we've had, and all have left for more money, not better jobs, in my opinion. But in saying that, Coach Ponce has been here. We're both assistants here together from 16 to 18. We know each other. I know what he's going to bring to the table as far as developing quarterbacks. If you really look back at it, he is the one that recruited Ryan Berger from Myrtle Beach. So he has a relationship with him. And really, to be honest with you, he was one of the first coaches, the first people let us in on Joey. He was on Miami's radar at one stage in the recruiting process. So I'm not sure they're going to bring anything different, but I do want them to bring some different ideas. With Coach Sloan, we worked together here before, and I know what there's, you have negotiable things and non-negotiable things as far as the defense goes, and it's going to be interesting to watch him implement his defense throughout spring practice now and then on to fall camp. So I hope I answer that question for you after fall camp.
So piggybacking off the quarterback battle, how do you handle the personal side of that with three guys competing for one job, but knowing only one can get it, but needing those other two guys to still be part of the team?
No, that's tough. Anytime you compete and there's only one quarterback can play. But again, we've talked to our quarterbacks and we've let them know it's going to be a true competition. And that's just the business side of things. Doesn't mean we don't like them or love them any less anymore, but we're going to let it play out. And whoever can take the offense down the field, don't turn the ball over, and score touchdowns, that's who's going to be the starting quarterback.
Alex Johnson, the Black and Gold podcast. I had more than 3 questions. I had to whittle it down to one here. When you go into fall camp, how much of an emphasis is our previous seasons, and how is it different this year, looking forward based on the year we just had in 2022? Is that a factor? Are we thinking about that? Or every fall camp, is it just looking straight ahead?
I learned at an early age in my coaching career, you cannot look in the rearview mirror, and you can't turn back the clock of time. And what happened last year is last year, and we've moved forward. And we have watched all of our cut-ups from both offense and defense, what we can learn from that, what we can do better. And again, you're going to make mistakes throughout a season, but again, we're not going to look back on last year. It's a new team, it's a new year, and we'll address it tonight in our first team meeting tonight. But I think our players have taken ownership, coaches have taken ownership in this. This is not a rebuild. It's not a reload. We're going to reset this thing and to get it back where it belongs, where it'll always be.
And I know that the quarterback question is always that's going to be a hot one this year. Are there any other competitions on the team in certain position groups that you're primarily looking closely at this fall camp?
Every position, and we made that clear the first team meeting we had when we came back from Christmas break that every position is up for grabs, and you have to earn your position on the team this year. And it doesn't matter. I can speak on the offensive line, Bucky Williams and Damian Daly and Isaiah Helms. There's 3 great players that play a lot of football, but we told them you have to earn your way on the team. So that's the fun part about this team. They like to work, and Matt's he set the standard in the weight room, which in turn is going to set the tone for us this fall camp.
David Rogers, High Country Sports. You answered this partly already with the offensive. You mentioned the offensive line, but my question really is specifically about that. Of the transfers that you brought in, several of them were offensive line, I believe. And how do you look at that in terms of what you're replacing in terms of Anderson, Hardy and Cooper Hodges and so forth, that the guys that you're the evolution of this offensive line that's just coming in.
Right. Well, I think if you look back since 2016 when Coach Leffer was here, we've always had a strong offensive line unit. Several went and played at the next level, and it's hard to replace Cooper Hodges, who was a 4-year starter, and Henderson Hardy, who started 2.5 seasons for us. Both are playing in the National Football League right now, but we wanted to make sure that the kids we brought in could fit our system. And that was hard because in the transfer portal, in the O-line world, that's like diamonds. To get one, you have to recruit 10. So we did bring in some transfers from the offensive line that we're looking forward to see how they play, how they fit in. But I'm excited about the guys we have here that was here in the past spring, Markel Samuels and Damian Daly and everyone else. And we brought Thornton Gentry in from NC State, and I'm excited about Caden Sweat. Caden Sweat has really caught our eyes since the first day he walked on campus, and he's going to start off tomorrow as a second-team center. And again, if he beats out the first guy, so be it. We had a true freshman named Noah Hannon who played his first game here against Georgia at 6 foot tall, 200. He'll say 6 foot and a half or 6'1", but 250 pounds. So this is a true competition all the way across the board. The best 5 will play up front, and the best players will play this year on our team.
Coach Clark, with 4 of your guys returning as starters on defense, you talk about competition and you bring in a new defensive coordinator. What do you see your defense, the scheme-wise, looking this year?
Well, like I mentioned, there's not one player in our defense was picked a preseason all-conference player, and at the Sunbelt Media Day, someone asked me that question. And really, this is the no-name defense. No one knows who our defense, any player on our defense, and that's a good thing sometimes. Those players will play with a chip on their shoulder and get back to the swarming defense that we're accustomed to. But we're going to look at, there's, like I said, negotiable things. Get lined up, that's not negotiable. Spraying to the football, non-negotiable. Tackling with a purpose, non-negotiable. And we have to play with an edge, a chip on our shoulder, because it's going to be a long season. But I know that Coach Sloan and his staff have a great plan together as how we install things and how it goes forward. I'm excited to watch them play. Like I said, so we've added some new pieces to it with Tyreek Funderburk from Richmond. Ethan Johnson did not go through spring practice, so Coach Sloan's never seen him live in person. And we have 2 true freshman linebackers who've caught our attention the last few days. And so it's like Christmas for us right now. We can't wait to get out there and get started. You need multiple speakers, Joey.
Patrick McCormick, Watauga Democrat. When you were at the Sunbelt Media Days, Nick Ross had a really enlightening comment about how he was in admiration of your recruiting process, and he mentioned a couple names. You just mentioned Tyreek Funderburk, but also Shawn Collins and Mike Fletcher. He was really excited about what those players were showing. Can you talk a little bit more about what he's seeing, and also seeing Nick Ross step up into that leadership role?
Right. We were very intentional of the recruiting process as we went through the whole end of December, January, February, we could be on the road recruiting, just to be intentional to make sure we got the right kind of guys. And we'd bring them in through our recruiting trips, official visits, and I would send them with our players now, and I would ask our players, do they fit App State? Are they blue collar? Do they like to work? Is it about them or is it about the team? And there were several that came in, our players said, no, he doesn't fit us. And we relayed the message, this is not a good fit for us here at App State, and they went our separate ways. But we want to be intentional how we did things and get the right kind of people that want to come in here and compete for a championship right away. This is not a 5-year rebuild. This is a reset 1 year.
Next question. Yep.
Hey, Coach. Ethan Smith, the Appalachian. With ECU coming to town for the first time since 1979, can you just talk about the importance of bringing back the Pirates to Boone?
Well, it's important to play all in-state rivalries if we could. But again, I would appreciate Coach Houston and the athletic director there we have this 3-game series. We played in Charlotte in 21, I believe, and then to bring them back to Boone. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere and return the favor to go back to Greenville. It's great for recruiting, no different than North Carolina with our 3-game series with North Carolina. Coach Brown coming to Boone last year. We're going to go down this year. But I think it's great for college football. It's great for the state of North Carolina to keep the money in state. When we were early in the Sun Belt, we would travel to New Mexico State and Idaho and 4-hour plane flights, and no one was in the stadium. Now you're having East Carolina come to Boone this year, North Carolina last year, and that's the electric atmosphere, sold-out stadiums. That's what our fan base can do for these games going forward.
Any more questions? Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Look forward to see you guys at fall practice. Have a good one.